We are all waiting to hear from Nintendo for an official confirmation of there being a Nintendo Direct this week. That's the big rumor right now. Most people are thinking it's going to be Wednesday. If we do get it on Wednesday, we'd most likely hear about it by tomorrow morning, at least for me on the East Coast. We usually get them at least by 11 a.m. So most likely tomorrow we'll be hearing about whether or not we're getting a Direct Wednesday. Even if we don't hear it tomorrow, it's still possible we could get one on Thursday or even Friday, but most likely we would get one Wednesday. That's when King Zell was saying we'd probably get one, or at least that's what he was alluding to, and he had this to say further about the whole thing. So over on Reset Era, someone said, I think this is Kingsells Retirement, and King Zell said, sadly it's true, I am okay with the heat, but people are spinning what I said and starting rumors like crazy. It's just not worth it. From now on, am here to watch, and God help my soul if it turns out not true. So King Zell's made predictions in the past and gotten things right. He has a really amazing track record, but this new thing has probably gotten the most attention, I think. A lot of channels, not just here, have covered this and are expecting a Nintendo Direct now and citing King Zell as, the source of where they're getting that from. But like I said, a lot of people have been jumping onto this ever since. For instance, over on Twitter, we have this post. This person, Jake Jones, said, painfully close to buying Super Mario Maker 3DS, but holding out for this Direct to see if a Switch version gets announced. And Liam Robertson, who's a pretty known leaker, said, ... I would wait. King Zell was saying Mario Maker 2 was probably going to get announced, and not necessarily in the Direct, but that was something King Zell was saying that Nintendo was working on, so very well could be something we see in the Direct. On top of that, like I said in my last video, Polar Panda was saying that their NOA source was saying a Direct was going to happen soon, so they're on board with this. Most leakers, most everybody seems to be on board with a Direct happening soon, and a bunch of stuff has come out that seems to point towards that. Like I was saying before, a lot of games are kind of leaking right now, which is always really indicative of a Direct happening soon, and there's some other stuff. So I want to go over all the little hints and clues and stuff that seem to be pointing that we'll probably get the Direct this week. Over on Nintendo's official website, they always show the maintenance times for things. So they have the next maintenance scheduled from Tuesday, February 12th at 11:50 p.m. through Wednesday, February 13th at 1:30 a.m. That pretty much points to Nintendo will be doing some sort of updates around the time that is right before this Direct and everything, if we are getting it on the 13th. So that really seems to point towards that as well, especially if they're going to add something like, I know a lot of people want Netflix added to the Switch. There was a whole rumor about a bunch of Super NES games that were found in the code of the Switch's online library, so most likely we'll be getting a bunch of Super NES games added at some point. Could that happen after this Direct, or could they announce it during this Direct and set up for it during this maintenance? All totally possible. Then over on Nintendo's German YouTube website, we have some private videos that have been uploaded. So this has happened in the past before Nintendo Directs, that some videos will go up privately and they won't be revealed for a while, but that's in preparation to reveal something, usually at a Direct or possibly a video for a specific title. Over on the Fire Emblem section, it's like the Nintendo 3DS section of the Fire Emblem videos, there's a private video there too. I think that one's been up for a while, but it's possible that video may finally, show up. So in my last video, I talked about how there was a couple of Switch titles that had their release dates revealed on a UK retailer early, before those release dates have officially been announced. They were Daemon X Machina with the release date of May 24th. Then Luigi's Mansion 3 with the release date of July 19th. And Welcome to Animal Crossing with the release date September 13th. So I don't know if those release dates are going to come to pass or not, but it's very likely that we could hear about these in the next Direct. So a few more Switch titles have begun to pop up online with rumors about them coming to Switch. And the first one here is on Ubisoft Club's website. They listed Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered for Switch, so we could be getting Assassin's Creed coming to Switch. We also had over on, I think it was GameStop's German website, they listed Spyro Reignited Trilogy for Switch. So that'd be really awesome. I'd love to get Spyro on Switch. I know that's kind of been a rumor for a while, but the GameStop German website apparently has listed it, which, again, in the lead up to a Direct, oftentimes these things happen. So this is very indicative of a Direct happening soon. over on Japan's Amazon page, Danganronpa Trilogy was listed for Nintendo Switch, so it's possible we could be getting that game for Switch, and that game's shown off in a Direct if we get one this week. And we also have a rumor of a new Monster Hunter game coming to Switch. So yeah, that's a lot of games happening within just a few days of each other. A lot of games that most likely, if there's going to be a Direct, would be, announced in that Direct. And if there is a Direct happening soon and retailers are getting word of which games, they're about to be able to show and which games are about to have release dates and, be able to pop up on their websites and stuff, very likely that a bunch of leaks like this would happen. So this is, again, really indicative that we could be getting a Direct this week. Seems like that's probably the case. There's a lot of evidence piling up in its favor. So some other interesting things that have happened recently. The US Secret of Mana and Final Fantasy Adventure trademark have been renewed. So Secret of Mana is a Super NES RPG game from Square, and Final Fantasy Adventures is another Square game that is for the Game Boy. So the interesting thing about having a Super NES game get its trademark renewed is that there's a rumor that we could possibly be getting some Super NES games on the Nintendo Online. The Switch Online has NES games right now, but people have looked into the code and they found some Super NES titles. So there was this big list of games. It didn't have Secret of Mana on it, but here's the list. It has Super Mario Kart, Super Soccer, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Demon's Crest, Yoshi's Island, Stunt Racer FX, Kirby's Dream Course, Poppin' Twinbee, Star Fox, Contra 3, Kirby Superstar, Super Ghouls and Ghost, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Super Metroid, Super Mario World, Pilot Wings, F-Zero, Star Fox 2, Super Punch-Out, The Legend of the Mystical Ninja, Super Mario All-Stars, and Breath of Fire 2. So Secret of Mana isn't on there, but it's very possible that it could be a game that would be added eventually to that list in the same way Nintendo has NES games on the Switch. It's possible we could be getting a bunch of Super NES games, and it's possible this Direct could show that off. That's all, of course, just speculation. As far as the Final Fantasy Adventures goes, that's a Game Boy title, so is it possible we could also be getting Game Boy games on the Switch? Could happen, I guess. But one really interesting thing about those Super NES games is that most of those titles are on the Super NES Classic. It seems weird for Nintendo to do both of those, but most of these games are from the Super NES Classic. Now, one game that's missing is Earthbound. Now, this year is the Mother series 30th anniversary. I talked about this in my video about Porky, because Porky's spirit is missing in Super Smash Bros. Right now, and Porky used to be a boss. It's the only boss character that doesn't have a spirit in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So I was thinking that either Porky's going to be one of our DLC characters, or possibly we're going to get like a Mother Collection series or something like that, which would make sense why Earthbound is off of the Super NES list. Maybe they're saving it for some sort of Mother Collection, and in the same way that you got like the Pikachu and Eevee spirits, if you had Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Pokemon Let's Go Eevee in your Switch with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, you could get those spirits. Be possible if they're going to make like a Mother Collection game, you would get the Porky spirit added to Smash during that. Or possible he'd be a DLC character, you get the spirit that way. Or maybe they'll make like a boss rush mode. Bergman was talking about a Minecraft boss being something he had heard about, so maybe boss rush mode will add that into the game. Maybe that wasn't wrong, it's just a little late here, and maybe Porky getting his spirit would be like, he might be the face of that boss rush mode. Well, there is one rumor floating around right now that does have to do with the Earthbound or Mother series. Basically, the rumor is Nintendo was planning on Mother 3 localization, but they decided against it due to controversial aspects. So I don't know if that was what Nintendo was initially planning back in the day for Mother 3, or if this is a more recent thing, but it's possible with Porky's spirit missing, Earthbound missing from that Super NES list, that we may potentially be getting Mother 3 finally localized at some point this year. Again, it's the 30th anniversary, seems like the right time to do it, so I don't know. I don't know if that deconfirms it. Maybe Nintendo was planning on it, now they've gotten cold feet and decided not to, but I would really like it to get localized. So I know that's been something that people have wanted for years and years and years here, but yeah, more and more stuff kind of building up that could be happening, or possibly Nintendo once again has decided to pull the plug on it. Who knows? Now, one thing I see a lot of people hoping for in this Direct is some news on the next Pokemon game. Supposedly we're getting a new mainline Pokemon game this year, and people are kind of expecting to get some news about it pretty soon here. Well, Usually Pokemon stuff doesn't show up in Nintendo Directs. It's usually in its own Direct, like Game Freaks likes to do stuff on its own. But there was this interesting thing that came from Nintendo of New York City on Twitter. So Nintendo NYC on Twitter said, come join the fun from Wednesday 2/27 through Sunday 3/3 at Nintendo New York City in celebration of Pokemon Day. There will be a variety of activities hosted at select times. Okay, so obviously February 27th is not this week, but what could happen is we could get the Direct this week, and then they could announce that there is a Pokemon Direct coming out possibly on the 27th or that week or some point in that time frame. If there is supposed to be this Pokemon Day, this Pokemon celebration, it would make a lot of sense to announce the new Pokemon game during that time frame. So possible we could be getting a Direct somewhere in there, a Pokemon-themed Direct, and get the new mainline Pokemon game announced. Okay guys, so that's pretty much all the big things I've heard, sort of furthering that we'll probably be getting a Nintendo Direct this week, most likely Wednesday, still possible to get it Thursday or something, but if it is Wednesday, we'd probably hear about that tomorrow, so hopefully we'll get some official announcement pretty soon here. If it is on Wednesday or Thursday or whenever, I will try and stream it. If I can't stream it for whatever reason, I will still record my reaction to it, especially, of course, if there's some sort of Smash announcement, a new character or something. I will always record my reaction to that and put it up for you guys a little bit afterwards. If not, again, I just stream the thing. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think we're getting a Nintendo Direct? Do you think all this new stuff is really pointing towards it? I personally think it's almost certainly going to happen. So yeah, I'm just waiting for that official announcement. And if you guys have any ideas of what you'd like to see in there, if you think any of this stuff will be seen in there, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll make a video about what my hopes for the Direct or my predictions for the Direct, if there's enough time in between when it's announced and when the Direct actually happens. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. Really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.